Good evening and welcome to online live psychic readings. Sorry, I'm tripping over my own tongue tonight. I'm Veronica Jenkins and I'm here to do the admin and to present Niko and his guides and inspirers for an evening of trance. The way that we do our trance on here is that Niko is in a deep meditative state and his guides sort of speak through Niko. His guides usually like to do a little bit of a talk about spirit and inspirational talk first, and then we open up for questions about the spirit world, for anything to do with spiritual development, that kind of thing. And then we get on to the more personal links and links with the loved ones. Okay, so without further ado, I will introduce Niko and his guides and inspirers who are working with him this evening. Good evening, Niko. And good evening to your guides and inspirers.
Good evening, my dear one. Always a pleasure to connect with your beautiful energy. And always very grateful, my dear one, that you offer us this opportunity to speak to a variety of souls. Greetings to each of you who are attending. There is much I wish to discuss, and I am certain that by the end of this beautiful session, we will have touched on much. What I would like to begin with is fear. For each of you have struggles with fear, both in your reality, your journey, your decisions, relationships. There's much worry and fear, as well as your belief, my dear ones, in our world. Fear of the unknown. Fear of what is to transpire next for you. And yet, as you struggle with fear, what many of you fail to remember is that the essence of your soul within this physical body is merely a portion of your essence. If you will understand and accept the idea that your essence of your soul is still very much part of our world, and that merely a portion of it enters that body for this journey. If you are to accept and understand this as a reality, then one must also understand the power of its soul. For each of your souls, the essence of your souls are quite powerful, quite knowledgeable, very wise, my dear ones. And they do not know or recognize fear. Each of you have led this physical life of yours, and through each and every difficult moment, when all hope seemed to have been lost, there was always a little voice inside, a feeling inside, a pull of some sort to your intuition that things will be fine. This, my dear ones, is your connection to this higher version of your soul essence. Each time you struggle with bouts of fear, confusion, and uncertainty, relax, my dear ones, for this is all a manifestation of your world. Just listen to the little voice inside, to your intuition, and trust yourself. For there is much wisdom in each of you, much strength, and those too alone, once felt, will easily ease your fears. Though my words at this time may not truly resonate with your human minds, I am certain they resonate with your soul. Learn, my dear ones, on this journey of yours, for it is quite pertinent to understand this. Learn how you are differentiating your mind from your essence. And learn to combine the two. For a journey proves to be much more difficult when there is distance between your essence and your mind. Blend the two, my dear ones. Feel what is in your heart, and this shall ease your journey, and most importantly, rid you of your fear. I thank you, my dear one, for allowing me my opening words.
Thank you ever so much. Tinita asks, lots of talk about the rapture and end of times fear. Do the guides have any clarity for us on that?
My dear, there is many words spoken in your world by others in physical form. There's much fear once more being spread. Why, my dear, do you add more fear to the fear which already exists inside of you? Each journey is an individual journey, my dear one. The journey of your soul is to live each experience as it should for its growth, and to remember its origin, my dear one. To worry unnecessarily detours your individual journey, my dear. Each should focus on their soul path, what they are called to perform in that life, what they agreed to do so, to assist others, to continue to have an open heart, my dear, and to learn the valuable lessons your soul needs to learn. Other than that, my dear, it is easy to succumb to the fear and words and misinterpretations of your world. So I advise you, my dear one, focus only on what resonates within you, and focus on your path and your path alone, and you will be fine, my dear. I thank you, my dear one.
Thank you. There doesn't seem to be any other questions this evening about the spirit world, but we do have a number of people asking for links with loved ones. So if it's all right, I'll just jump straight into those. Donna Roy.
If
Sorry.
I may interject here.
Of course.
To all of those who wish to speak to their lost loved ones, allow me to ask you a question. Do you not believe that they are in fact still near? Do you not feel their essence? Do you not perhaps see them within the dream state, or even hear them call your name? Your hearts are heavy. This I am certain of, as I am able to feel the pull in your hearts. But to ask, my dear ones, for them to come through, for them to bring a message, in order for you to believe more, is unnecessary, my dear ones. For you to ask for them to come forth, to alleviate the pain you still carry within, is also unnecessary, my dear ones. For what many of you fail to remember is that you are always connected to their essence. You always have been, and you always shall be. For the beautiful connection you shared in this life is one of many, my dear ones. They are always with you. Their words, which will come through tonight for you, will be of admiration and support and love, all which you already feel within your heart, even at the mere thought of them, my dear ones. So it will be my joy to bring them forth. It is also important for you, my dear ones, to understand that you never need the assistance of our world to connect with them, for they are always present with you. Feel them, my dear ones, in your heart. Sit in your silence without distractions. Speak with them. Feel the sensations as they draw near, as their response to your questions, as their response to your words. It truly is that simple, my dear ones. Believe in them, for they are always connected with you, and always shall be. Thank you, my dear one. We may proceed.
Thank you, Niko. Krish Pillay actually asks, could you tell me about my spirit guides, please?
Well, yes, my dear one. You are aware of a couple, are you not, my dear? Yes. I am sensing that you do possess a connection with them, my dear. Especially the male figure, my dear, the male energy. Quite powerful, wise. Him you have seen in a vision, my dear one. He is wearing a robe, a cloak, with a hood, my dear, with a beard. Quite wise indeed. This one, my dear one, you have received his messages. You have already set forth, my dear, an open communication with him. You also sense the Native American, do you not, my dear one? who is also near. Yes, my dear one. They speak to you of continued trust. The words are echoed, my dear, for you have already received them. And yet they are present with you. There are many, my dear, who assist you. But this one in particular is the one who has made contact, who you have received, and whom you are learning to work with directly, my dear. So continue, my dear one. Continue to receive and be open, for there is much, my dear, transpiring for you, for your growth, and to further enhance your connection. But you were quite hesitant, my dear, to accept. Negative, skeptical. You realize that the consistency and the feeling of the sensation, my dear, the energy, caused you to become familiar and to believe more. Set aside your worries, my dear, and trust, and a lot more shall be revealed to you. Trust what you receive in vision instinctively is accurate and not a manifestation of your mind, my dear. The connection shall become quite powerful, I assure you. Thank you, my dear one.
Thank you. Krish did confirm all that you were saying in the comments there.
My dear one, it is not a confirmation. It is a reality, my dear.
Thank you.
It is what she feels and whom is with her. You see, my dear ones, when the mind in your world interferes, it is as if you have altered the radio station and much static occurs. Do not listen, my dear ones, to your mind. Continue to focus on what it is you feel in the heart. And then the transmission shall always remain clean, and you will always be able to receive the messages. I thank you, my dear one.
Thank you. Tanya would also love to know about her spirit guides.
With you, my dear one, I am sensing that static that I just mentioned. I am receiving, my dear one, from those who are with you, that though you do feel their essence, you are questioning what you receive. You are asking for names and identities. And yet, my dear one, you are missing the messages. There are many as well. But you, my dear one, I am sensing are connecting to a lost loved one, female. and questioning if this is a helper for you. I feel, my dear, with you, it is important to share that there are many, that there are a few who have been with you since the beginning. And even the lost loved ones, my dear, return and assist. You do feel a powerful female energy as well as a male. These are the two, my dear, that you are focusing on and questioning who they are. For you, my dear, at this time of the journey, I would recommend to feel their essence, to truly connect with their essence, my dear. Do not become so preoccupied with your identity, as this is beginning to confuse you a bit. Trust, my dear, that there are quite powerful beings with you as well. Trust these connections are from a different time. Trust that, yes, indeed, a lost loved one or two is also joined to assist. But what is important for you, my dear, is to trust why they are connecting with you, how they are opening the door, if you will, for you to get a glimpse into our world, to feel the connection even stronger in order for you to trust fully and connect. For though you do at times connect, my dear, with the heart, also at times, my dear, it does not seem sufficient enough, and you seek to learn more of the others. Understand, my dear one, though there are many, they will not all appear at once for you, nor for anyone else. For it is a gradual evolution of your understanding and acceptance, of your ability, my dear, to accept their essence with all its power, and to be able to gravitate at their level, to allow them to adjust your vibrational frequency in order to do so. So it is not merely, my dear, the matter of whom they are, names, identities, as it is to connect with each one as they come close and understand how, in fact, they are working with you for your development. And my dear one, you may continue to ask them as well, after you truly recognize their essence and why they have come. Thank you, my dear one.
Thank you. We have a question on a similar theme from Donna Roy saying, I would like to know who my animal guides are and how many I have.
My dear one, you possess the answers. But there is an affinity with the animals, my dear, and your ability to bring them in. You are familiar with the snake, my dear. Let us begin with this one, with the transformation, my dear. As it reappears, my dear, why do you believe that is so? My dear, though you are well aware of the animals, spirit, as well as the symbolism of each and whom comes in, as well as how many, my dear. I ask you, though, rather than scanning them as quickly as they appear, do you bother, my dear, to stop and recognize why that particular one is appearing for you at that particular time? For as you have educated yourself, my dear, with the symbolism and the meaning of their power, I am not as certain, my dear, that you are reflecting of your particular life at that time when they appear. For all, my dear, appear for reasons. For their appearance occurs at specific times to understand why. So as the transformation of the snake appears, my dear, what transformation is occurring for you now? This is where the power, the excellence of the animal kingdom, my dear, proves to be quite useful, especially for you. So it is not, my dear, as relevant for you to call upon them as it is for you to understand the meaning and the message you are receiving when they do appear. It is subtle, but yet quite powerful, my dear. Trust in that, for there is much growth for you, my dear, in the waiting for them to appear as needed. And then the message is much more powerful and clearer for you. I thank you, my dear one.
Thank you. Haley Cunningham is asking, how can I strengthen my third eye?
Patience, my dear. No expectations. And I ask, my dear, for the development. Trust in what you see. As you connect, my dear, with those beautiful souls who are working with you, ask them, my dear. For it is just as important for you to become aware of whom it is working with you, and to feel their essence, and to accept them, as it is for you to focus on your clairs, my dear. This will occur. It is subtle, my dear one. The light you see, accompanied by a glimpse of a vision, occurs in order for you to receive it. Acknowledge it, my dear. Speak aloud to those who work with you of what you have received, so they are more aware and are aware of what is accurate and what is working effectively, my dear. But to do it alone, my dear, and assume that you shall open on your own is not quite accurate. For all of these abilities, my dear one, are shared between you and those spirits that work with you. They refer to it in your world as a team for a reason, my dear. As you ask, they ask of you as well. So listen, my dear, and open up this two-way conversation. Listen to the silence, and you shall hear. And then much more development shall occur for you. Focus on them, my dear. first. Understand who they are. Feel them. And then the rest shall come. Thank you, my dear one.
Thank you. Leona McAvoy asks for a general reading, please.
Yes, my dear one. My dear one, with you, I shall revert once more to my opening remarks, the words I have spoken of fear. For though, my dear one, you do possess a confidence to you, it is the fear of others, I presume, you find struggle with. Trust unconditionally, my dear, and love unconditionally, for they too are souls as yourself. When you allow, my dear, how you perceive those around you to equal how you perceive yourself, your life's journey will be smooth sailing, if you will. Because though, my dear, you do have a certain confidence to yourself, that too can become a bit unsettling when you fall victim to those near you, my dear, when you allow them to affect you. So fear, my dear, also translates to calculating your next steps, your next movements, rather than allowing it to go freely. You are worrying, my dear, of the storm to come, rather than enjoying the sail on a beautiful, calm sea. Enjoy, my dear, the sailing today. Be appreciative of all those around you. And do not worry, my dear, of tomorrow's weather, for that is where the fear is. I thank you, my dear one.
Thank you. Bernadette Connolly asks, any messages from my guides, please?
Yes, my dear one. My question to you again, my dear, as the others. You are capable, my dear, of receiving the message directly. You are capable, my dear, of deciphering the messages, the signs which are being provided for you. They are subtle, yet they are occurring constantly for you, are they not, my dear? Even as you glance at the clock and see the same numbers appear, my dear, and you're aware of what that is, are you in fact reading the message provided? They are speaking, they are providing, they are guiding. The important message which I am translating to you from them is to have more faith. Not in them, my dear, within your own abilities. As you are aware of them, and as you even feel them. Believe, my dear, that you can connect with them as easily as they are with you. For within this connection, my dear, is your strength. And within this connection to them, my dear, lies your future. So do not question, my dear. Listen to them, follow the guidance, and continue to improve your ability. Do not make it harder than it is, my dear. For by doing so, you question your ability. Trust. Allow your heart to guide you to them. Feel your way to them, my dear. And then accept all they have to offer. And then you shall receive messages clearer. I thank you, my dear one.
Thank you. John Lewis asks, when we pass over, do we go to a healing sanctuary to let go of physical emotions before we settle into a life in spirit?
My dear one, this question has been asked by many. This healing center. Many states, many stages are referred in your world, my dear. The transition back to our realm. The testing. What is important to remember, my dear, is that you are already here. Your soul has never left. A portion is within you now. What occurs, my dear one, is as you return. Allow me to begin with what occurs while you are in physical form, my dear. You accumulate all this pain through all of your experiences. Not only do you learn the emotions, you also learn the emotions of shame, guilt, anger, all the various emotions of your world. Though as needed for your soul's growth, they are not transferable into ours. And as one continues and ends their journey in physical world, most of the emotions are shed. But the most difficult ones, the most difficult pain, which each of you still carry within the heart today, are not shed as easily. You are spending a lifetime clinging on to these memories, clinging on to this pain with your life, afraid to let go, uncertain of how you will be if you let go of that pain that you have grown so accustomed to. It is this particular pain, as you enter back into our world fully, that the light is shined upon it in order for you to finally release it, to heal it, to accept it, to have a lengthy discussion on why it inflicted such pain at that time, to reminisce on other lives, to understand the pattern, to heal other lives as well. So it is not that you need to enter into this healing space, as you put it, in order to gain access once more, for you have never left. It is more so, my dear one, to truly receive the clarity, to truly understand that lesson, as well as other important lessons of this life. For each life you have led, the most important, critical lessons learned is what is remembered, and that affects your growth as a soul. Now, the true test for each soul is to release that pain of the heart while you are still on the journey. For that proves to be the greatest growth of all. Where you accomplished the most difficult task while in physical form. I thank you, my dear one.
Thank you. Melissa asks, could she have a general message? It's much needed.
My dear one, why do you believe it is much needed? You see, my dear, just the way you pose the question explains much. The lack of self-esteem, my dear. The feeling of being lost. Quicksand is how you yourself put it, my dear. Why, I ask you, do you allow the reality of your world to affect you as it does? Why do you allow each experience to leave its scars, my dear? Why do you forget who you are and where you come from? Yes, your voice, your words will respond that it is not as easy as we think. But my dear, you are wrong, incorrect in your assessment, for it truly is that easy. It is a matter, my dear, especially for you, to alter your perception of your reality. Alter your perception to those who inflict pain. The circumstances you find yourself in. Alter it, my dear, by understanding why it is occurring. Who these people truly are. Souls. Powerfully connected to you, providing you an experience for your growth. Understand, my dear one, that you are truly always surrounded by spirit who love you, are encouraging you, believing in you, and most of all, guiding you through your difficult moments. You feel it, you sense it. Your intuition tells you so. And yet it is a fleeting thought for you, where you return back to your reality of your world. So, my dear one, my advice to you, with my love, would be to believe more in yourself, but to believe less in the reality that you see of your world. But there is quite a difference, my dear. You are a very powerful soul, loving, confident, very confident, my dear one. A contrast of who you are in this world. But my dear, you do have the ability to shine in your world. of the essence you truly are. For that to happen, though, my dear, your perception needs to be altered. And you need to believe in yourself as you do in our realm. It is simple, my dear. Listen to your heart. Believe in yourself. I thank you, my dear one.
Thank you. Rachie asks if Spirit has a message for her, please.
My dear, you receive messages. My dear, as your thought is consumed with a particular event occurring for you, and you seem quite puzzled. You're attempting to understand how the situation occurred. As, my dear, you are focusing on the task at hand, the problem, the worry, do you not receive a new thought which seems to appear out of nowhere, which seems to bring you comfort and the answers that you seek? You receive this quite often, my dear, and you perceive it to be your own mind. How is it, my dear, I ask you, that your mind and your thoughts are already consumed toward one direction, one outcome, and yet a new outcome appears for you? Do you not believe, my dear, that this new thought influencing your current thought is assisted by Spirit? Do you not thank Spirit, my dear, when the road you are traveling, the bumpy one, becomes clear and easier to travel? These, my dear, are very subtle for you, and yet occur quite often. But you are a believer, my dear. You even offer your gratitude. It is believing that you can receive the messages yourself, and you can offer messages back. So, my dear, the message to receive today is to focus on what occurs for you. It is not coincidence, my dear, for nothing is a coincidence. It is all part of your journey. It is also, my dear, to remind you that as you receive these thoughts, as you feel the essence of Spirit, you too, my dear, possess the ability to connect with us. Though you do not believe that, you wish it. Trust, my dear, it has already begun. You are becoming aware of changes. And it is quite confusing. Trust, my dear, there's more than meets the eye. And gently walk toward us, my dear, without fear. And much more will transpire for you. And I thank you, my dear one.
Thank you. Adriana asks, could she have a message, please?
My dear one, I am feeling you are seeking a message from a lost loved one, rather than a general message. Yes, my dear. You are confident, and yet you are troubled. You are worried. Your confidence is strongest when you feel you are in control of outcomes. You prefer to put your mind, your thoughts to something, my dear, and see it through, and to receive the outcomes you anticipated. But when it does not occur that way, my dear, you become a little confused, do you not? Questioning why this outcome changed, and questioning how that outcome will prove to be as you wanted it. What can you do? My dear one, for you, the journey is when that outcome changes. When you feel puzzled. Rather than questioning, my dear, why the outcome has changed or is about to change. Take a pause, my dear, and reflect. Recognize this new outcome. And most importantly, my dear, recognize how it will affect you. That is the journey. The journey should not be predictable, my dear. There is not much growth in predictability. Allow change. Welcome surprises. Welcome the challenge. For within all of that, my dear, lies your greatest growth. You are surrounded, my dear, by many loved ones, especially the one you think of often. Echoing my words to you. Thank you, my dear one.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just... Tanita would love a message from dad or boyfriend in spirit, please.
Both, my dear, of equal love to you. Both, my dear, quite understanding of you, were they not? I sense, my dear, that you recognize similar characteristics from one to the other. What you were recognizing was how they made you feel, my dear one. Loved and safe. They are both present now, my dear, for they are always with you as well. Though with different essence, of course. different experiences with you, of course. Similar message, my dear. You sense the loss of safety. You do not walk in your steps, my dear, with the same confidence they provided as you felt safe with them. They are making mention, my dear, especially the Father. That you do not need anyone in your life to offer you that confidence nor the sense of safety. You possess it on your own. He is making mention, my dear, that he has attempted to teach you that lesson by building up your confidence, allowing you to see your self-worth for what it truly is, and to feel safe within your own skin, my dear, if you will. He is mentioning love, and the similar message, my dear, that to truly feel love, it is not the idea of feeling it through someone else's actions, but it is truly about feeling the love you have for yourself, which coincides, my dear, with how you perceive yourself to be. Through his eyes, he sees you as a strong individual, powerful in her abilities, confident within herself, and truly loving herself. So he asks you, my dear, why is it difficult for you to view yourself as he views you? The other one, my dear, also viewed you the same, also made mention for you to view yourself as he sees you. So, my dear, they are truly with you, and their love is still quite strong. And they feel your love, my dear. The void in your heart, the love you have for them. The difficulties continue. Walking within your strength, my dear, in your confidence. They are well aware, for they feel it as well. So they offer their love to you, my dear, for comfort, support, and they loan you their courage in order for you to find yours once more. You have a beautiful heart, my dear, a beautiful essence to you. Allow your world to see that, my dear. Thank you, my dear one.
Thank you so much. Well, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for this evening. So if I can just say thank you so much to Niko and his guides and inspirers for joining us here this evening. While Niko returns back from his deep meditation there, I'll just read out what we've got tomorrow. We've got Sheila at 3:30, healing as we have every day at 6 o'clock. And then again, readings with Larkin at 9 o'clock. All those times are UK times. If you are in America and it's EST or EDT at the moment, you're 5 hours behind us. So just take 5 hours off those times. Niko will be back with us, I believe, next Sunday at 9 o'clock again, which is UK time, or 4 o'clock EDT. You're more than welcome to join us.
My dear,
hello.
We wish to offer our gratitude once more to all those who have joined and opened their hearts to us, and most importantly, my dear one, to you.
Thank you. So for those of you who had questions tonight and we didn't have time for, please do come again next week. And again, if you'd like readings and Niko's guides and help us to come through with messages for you, just pop along again next week. Hiya.
Hi.
I like just to wait until you come back again before I sign off.
Thank you.
It's been a lovely evening, Niko. Thank you so much for your time and your guides and inspirers for helping us out tonight.
That was fun. Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Right. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.